In the last video, we have seen how easy it really is to create visualizations in Power BI and how easy it is to work with Power BI itself. However, most of the time, almost always, you get some data which is not that clean. So what you need to do is you need to do some kind of ETL steps. So you need to transform your data, you need to get rid of certain data, or you need to change certain data types, or so on. So basically, you will need or leverage the Power BI query editor. And this is what we do in this next part. So the first thing here is the Excel file. You can download it from the resource folder, and this file actually contains our current example here. So what we are dealing with. Okay, let's suppose you get this kind of data from your colleague at work, okay? And what does it look like? Well, we have three different kinds of sheets here for 2017, 16, and 15 sales. And what we have is we have an order ID, a product ID, location ID, a salesperson ID, a customer ID, a purchase date, a quantity, and a price. So that's what we have in our table. You can see it here, and it's formatted as a table. It is a table. So we got this for all the 3 years. And what we also have, of course, is we need to link those, because here you can see, so we only have the order ID and the product ID here, so we have a lot of foreign keys here. So if you're familiar with SQL or Microsoft SQL Server, things like that, then you know what this is. So basically what we have is we have an ID here stored for the product, and in order to get some data or information about the product, we need to go to the products table in here, and here you can find the ID, and you find some information about the product. So for instance, the costs, the price, discount, the current price, taxes, and so on. Okay, and it's the same for other kinds of columns. For instance, the location ID, we have only an ID. So if you want to know more about the location itself, we go to the locations table and we find the data we are looking for. Okay, the state, the county in this case, because here we are dealing with California and so on. And the same is true for the customers. There's something about the customers and salespeople as well. Okay. So that's how the data is structured, and the reason for this is actually it's quite simple. We simply store space because we're using this kind of relationships between the tables where we only have a foreign key, which in this case is something like A126 here, which is the primary key again in the locations table. So if you're familiar with SQL Server, you know, or SQL itself, you know what I'm talking about. If not, simply understand that we do not want to refer to the same product again and again. For instance, if the product 100 is appearing here 100 or a few, let's say 20 times, we do not want to write the product 100, product 100, product 100, but we only referring to the product here, to the product ID. Okay, and the same is true for location, salesperson ID, and customer ID. So this simply saves us storage space, and we also could much quicker adapt. For instance, if product name changes, we only change the product name once, and it's reflected in all three tables we got here. Okay, so this is the scenario, and in the next video, we'll start diving into the query editor and make some transformation steps. So, see you there.